having an amazing day so far. So today we will be doing our grade 4 English lesson on possessive nouns. So we'll be doing our grade 4 English lesson on possessive nouns. And before we start with our lesson, we are going to log into aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged into aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we are going to select the subject of language arts. And then we choose grade 4. Once we've selected the subject of language arts, grade 4, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to the chapter of possessive nouns. All right, so we are going to be doing the chapter of possessive nouns, grade 4. So our chapter is possessive nouns. The subject is English, or we can say language arts, grade 4. And since that we are focusing on today is to identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives. We're also going to form the singular and plural possessives. So that is going to be our 2 focus lessons under the chapter of possessive nouns. And we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. aplusstudents.ca. And if ever you want to go back to the lessons to recap, just to go over certain things, then you can go to aplusstudents.ca. There we have the chapter, which is possessive nouns, the subject, English, grade 4, and our specific lessons. All right, and before our lesson ends, we are going to do an activity on possessive nouns. And our activity is going to be on aplusclasses.ca. So aplusclasses.ca, under language arts. So it's under language arts. And then we're going to the grammar practice workbook. And then we are going to do pages 45 to 46. But that will be for later, before our session ends. All right, so now we're going to start with our lesson on possessive nouns. And a possessive noun, it shows who or what owns something or has something, right? So if you own something or you have something, right, that basically belongs to you, then it's yours, it's mine, right? But instead of saying yours or mine, if your name is Jake, right? So if your name is Jake and the ball belongs to you, right? And then you're going to say is Jake's ball, right? So when we say it's Jake's ball, and then we need to put the apostrophe and S at the end of that word to show position, right? And we say it's Jake's ball. Now we know that the ball belongs to Jack, right? If it's Sarah's doll, then we will say, if the doll belongs to Sarah, we say it is Sarah's doll. And there we have our apostrophe and our S, which shows position, meaning that we now know that the doll belongs to Sarah because it's Sarah's doll. We know that the ball belonged to Jack because it's Jack's ball. So that is a possessive noun, right? And we said a possessive noun, it shows who or what owns something or has something, right? And when a noun is singular, referring to one person, one animal, thing, right? So if the noun is singular, referring to one person, one animal, one place, or one thing, right? And then we add an apostrophe and an S, meaning that we will add this that we see in brackets. So we add the apostrophe and S. And there we have an example. So we add the apostrophe and an S to form the singular possessive noun. And we add the apostrophe and S at the end of the word. So that's an apostrophe and an S. Right? We add that at the end of the word. And there we have an example. Jack's ball. Sarah's ball. Doll. Right? And that shows or it forms the singular possessive noun. And remember, we said a possessive noun, it shows who or what owns something or has something. So, who or what owns something or has something. All right. And when a noun is plural, so when a noun is plural, referring to more than one person, place, animal, or thing, right? So when the noun is plural, right? And the noun ends in S, right? Then we just add an apostrophe, only the apostrophe, and there we have an example in the bracket to form the plural noun. Meaning, if we refer to the boys, right? Let's say the boys team, right? So the team, so the boys, boys, it refers to it being more than one, right? So boys is more than one and it ends in an S. So if we want to change that and show position, right? I'm going to use a different color to show position. So if we want to show position and then we put the apostrophe at the end, we don't put it in front of the S or we don't add another S. So we then say the boys, this team. You don't put another apostrophe at an S. You just put the apostrophe at the end of that word to show that it is the boys' team, right? If you don't put the apostrophe at the end, right, and you just say, if you just say, for example, the boys' team, right? So if you just say the boys um, team, right? Without the apostrophe. And then this just shows that it is plural. So you are now just referring to the boys being more than one boy, but you're not showing possession, right? So possession needs to be with the apostrophe. And we show possession by adding our apostrophe. And by the singular form, we add the apostrophe and the S. All right. And when a noun is plural, right? So referring to more than one person, place, animal, or thing. So when the noun is plural, but it does not end in S, right? Then we add the apostrophe and we add the S, almost like we did with the singular form, to form the plural possessive noun. Meaning, an example is children. What can I? The children's bed. So I'm going to say the children's, or let's say the children's lunch. So the children lunch, right? So children, it refers to more than one person, right? It shows plural. And we said that if it shows plural, then we add the apostrophe and the S, but that is only if it does not end in S. So here we say the children's lunch, which means that we are going to put the apostrophe, we put the apostrophe, and we put the S. So the children's lunch refers to the lunch that belongs to the children, right? But if we had to now say it was girls, right? That ends in an S, then we would have only put the apostrophe at the end. So if we're referring to more than one person, animal, place, or thing, and the word does not end in S, then we put the apostrophe and the S. But if the plural form of that word ends in S, and then we only add the apostrophe at the end, and that shows possession. And remember, if it does not have an apostrophe, an S, or doesn't have an apostrophe at the end, and then it's not showing possession, right? It's not showing possession or not showing a possessive noun, because now it is just a plural noun. It just refers to it being more than one. So you need to add either an apostrophe, an S, or just an apostrophe at the end of that word to show that it is a possessive noun. If no apostrophe, an S, or no apostrophe, and then we will just assume that it is a plural noun. It just refers to more than one person, animal, place, or thing. All right. So now going to a+students.ca. So we're going over to a+students.ca. And we see that the chapter is possessive nouns. And the first lesson that we're going to be doing is to identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives. All right, so a possessive noun, right? So once again, a possessive noun or possessive nouns, it shows who or what owns something or has something. If it belongs to someone, something, then it is, we need to show position. And when a noun is singular, referring to one person, animal, place, or thing, we add an apostrophe and an S. For example, like that. So we add the apostrophe as well as the S. That is what we need to do to form a singular possessive noun. And an example, right, of a singular possessive noun, for example, Matt. Matt is a boy, right? So if we want to make mention of or show that something belongs to Matt or the glove belongs to Matt, right? So this glove belongs to Matt. So we added an apostrophe and an S to Matt's name. So it is Matt's glove. And as you can see there, the apostrophe and the added to show that the glove belongs to Matt. It shows that it's in his possession. It belongs to him. He has ownership of it. So Matt's glove. So whose glove is it? It is Matt's glove. Another example is the bird. Bird refers to one bird only, singular, right? But if we want to make mention of the wings of the bird, it's not your wings, it is the bird's wings, right? So if we want to make mention of the wings of the bird, maybe the wing fell off or the wing is stuck to something or he hurt his wing or something. So we say the bird's wing because we don't have wings, but the birds, they have wings. So it belongs to the bird. It's the bird's wing, right? And there we added the apostrophe and the S to the end of that word. But now they're saying when a noun is plural, right? Plural refers to more than one person, animal, place, or thing. So when a noun is plural and it ends in S, so the noun ends in S, right? Then you just have to add the apostrophe only the apostrophe, no S, because our noun already ends in S. So all we're going to do is at the end of that word, we put the apostrophe to form the plural possessive noun. So we only add an apostrophe to form the plural possessive noun. And an example, right? So the boys, right? So we're referring to more than one boy, right? So if we want to talk about the camp that the boys went on, then we say the boys' camp. And there you can see we did not say boys, right? That is not correct. All you do is there's the word boys. So all you do is you just add an apostrophe at the end, like it is over there. So now it refers to the boys' camp, right? The schools referring to more than one school and it ends in an S. So we can say the schools team can be the rugby team, netball team, volleyball team, badminton team, um, football team, softball team, right? And there we say the schools teams, right? And we only added the apostrophe at the end, only the apostrophe. So we said schools and we added the apostrophe at the end, because that plural or that noun or the plural noun, it basically ends in an S, so we just add the apostrophe at the end of that word. If you are going to say, if you are going to add an apostrophe and an S to this word, and then this is because you just need to add an apostrophe only to show position, to show what owns something or has something. And then when a noun is plural and it does not end in an S, we need to add an apostrophe and S. So we now add an apostrophe and S because our noun, it does not end in an S. So we basically going to add the apostrophe and the S at the end of that word. And that is to form a plural possessive noun. Example, the children, right? So children is referring to more than one child. So if it's two or more, and then we say it is children because it's one child, two or more children. So if we want to refer to the toys belonging to the kids or to the children, and then we will say the children's toys. And there we added the apostrophe and the S at the end of that word to show possession or possessive. The mice, right? Remember the mice is it's the plural form of mouse. So one mouse, two or more mice. So there we can see mice. Mice refers to more than one mouse, right? So if we want to make mention of the mice's tails, then we just add the apostrophe and the and s to the end of that word. Mice's tails. And this is possessive nouns, right? These are possessive nouns. And possessive nouns, it shows who owns something or has something. Then we have singular nouns or singular possessive noun. And then we also have plural possessive nouns. So we just need to know where to put the apostrophe and S or just put the apostrophe. And remember, we said we put an apostrophe and S at the end of a word to show possession or possessiveness, right? When either it is a singular possessive noun or when it's a plural noun, but it does not end in S. And then we only add an apostrophe if the noun is plural and it ends in S. Then we add the apostrophe at the end of that word after the S. All right. So now we're going to look at the word in bold, right? You need to say what word is in bold. So you either going to say if it is a possessive, a singular possessive noun, referring to only one person, animal, place, or thing, or you're going to say if it is a plural possessive noun, referring to more than one person, animal, place, or thing, or remember we said that if there is no apostrophe and S or no apostrophe at all, right, and then it only refers to it being a plural noun. It only shows that it is more than one, but it is not a possessive noun. For example, if we look at the word soldiers, right? So the soldiers had a duty to defend the fort. So if you look at the word soldiers, is there an apostrophe? Is an apostrophe an S? Or is this just referring to more than one soldier that had a duty to defend at the fort? Which means that we need to ask ourselves, is this a singular possessive noun? Is it a plural possessive noun? Or is it just a plural noun? All right, so now if we look at the word soldiers, right? And then we will say soldiers. The soldiers had a duty to defend the fort. So there is no apostrophe at all. So if there's no apostrophe, then this is just a plural noun. It's only a plural noun. And it's only a plural noun because it just shows that there is more than one soldier, right? As soon as there is an apostrophe or an apostrophe and S, then it shows possessive nouns. Then we can either say a singular possessive or a plural possessive noun. All right, we look at the next one. We have enough paddles for everyone to kayak. We have enough paddles for everyone to kayak. So the word paddles, is that a plural noun? Is it a singular possessive noun? Or is it a plural possessive noun? Paddles. Is it only a plural noun like our first one? Is it a singular possessive noun or a plural possessive noun? And remember, if it does not show or doesn't have an apostrophe or an apostrophe and S, then we cannot say it is a possessive noun. So it cannot be a possessive noun if there is no apostrophe and S. So we have enough paddles for everyone to kayak. All right, so if we choose what it is, and then we will say that pedals is only a plural noun. It only refers to more than one pedal. So it says that we have enough pedals for everyone to kayak. Does not show any form of possession. All right, let's do the last one. My nephew's teammate was my nephew's teammate was the champion. Is this a plural noun, a singular possessive noun, or is it a plural possessive noun? nephew's teammate, referring to one teammate, was the champion. My nephew's teammate was the champion. So is that a plural noun, singular possessive noun, or is it a plural possessive noun? So nephews. So my nephew's teammate. All right, so if we look at that word specifically, it's talking about my nephew, my one nephew, right? So his teammate, right, was the champion. And we showed, or we added the apostrophe and the S over there, which means that this is a singular possessive noun. So this is a singular possessive noun. It has an apostrophe and an S, right? And it's referring also to one person. So it's a singular possessive noun. So it's a singular possessive noun. We have an apostrophe and an S that was added to the singular noun nephew to make it possessive. All right, so now we're going to our test. So what is the word in bold? I listen to my nephew's opinions. I listen to my nephew's opinions. Our apostrophe is at the end of that word after the S. Does it show a plural possessive noun or does it just show a plural noun? Is it option 1 or option 2? So is it the first one or the second one? I listen to my nephew's opinions. All right, so if we choose the correct, basically the correct word, and then we're gonna say that nephews, right, with the apostrophe at the end, it refers to more than one. It is a plural possessive noun because nephews is already plural, and the apostrophe at the end shows possessive. So option 1 is correct. So well done, 1 is correct. Well done. We need to choose the word in bold. What is the word in bold? The actor's lines were impossible for him to remember. The actress's lines were impossible for him to remember. So actresses, it's got an actor apostrophe S. Is that a plural noun or a singular possessive noun? Option 1 or option 2. Is it a plural noun that's only referring to more than one person, animal, place, or thing? Or is it a singular possessive noun? It has an apostrophe and an S. The actress's lines were impossible for him to remember. All right, so we are choosing option 2 because it is the actor, which refers to a singular noun, and the apostrophe and the S over there, it shows Singular possessive noun. So the actress's lines were impossible for him to remember. So well done. Two is correct. I love watching the acrobats at the circus. The acrobats. Is that a singular possessive noun or is it a plural noun? Only referring to more than one thing. The option one or option two? I love watching the acrobats at the circus. Is it a singular possessive noun or a plural noun? Option one or option two? Remember, if it's a possessive noun, whether it is a singular possessive noun or a plural possessive noun, it needs to have an apostrophe, an S or an apostrophe. If it does not have an apostrophe, an S, or it does not have an apostrophe, and then it is just a plural noun. So look at that sentence that says, I love watching the acrobats at the circus. Is there an apostrophe, an S, or just an apostrophe? Does it show a singular possessive noun, which is option one, or option two, it's just a plural noun? All right, so we are going to say that this is just a plural noun. There is no apostrophe added at the end of that word, right? No apostrophe and an S, which means that it is not a possessive noun. It is just a plural noun, right? So it's just a plural noun. All right. Now we're going to form the singular or the plural possessives. And we say the possessive noun, it shows who or what owns something or has something, right? And we need to add an apostrophe and an S, not forgetting that we need to add an apostrophe and S. Remember, we need to add an apostrophe and an S to a singular noun to make it a possessive noun, right? So a possessive noun has an apostrophe and S or it has an apostrophe. And we made an example of Matt's gloves and the bird's wings. That refers to it being a singular possessive noun. So now, if we look at the word, it says you need to type the possessive form of the given word. So the word given is astronaut, right? So we need to write that word in, like we need to type the possessive form of that word, of that noun. So the astronaut telescope. How are we going to show the possessive form of that noun? The noun in bracket. This one, astronaut. So we're going to rewrite that sentence correctly. And if we write that sentence correctly, we can say the. Now we need to add our possessive form to that noun. Say the astronauts, apostrophe and S, telescope. So the astronauts telescope, right? And there we added our apostrophe as well as our S to show that it is now a possessive form. It is now a possessive noun. So the astronauts telescope, and we added the apostrophe and the S. Remember, if there's no apostrophe and S and it's only an S, then it is a plural noun. A turkey gobble. We need to show or type that word, and we need to type the possessive form of that word. A turkey gobble. So if we rewrite that sentence, we will say a turkey's apostrophe and S gobble. A turkey's gobble. And there we added our apostrophe and an S to show possessive form. And that officer opinion. And if we rewrite that, we will say that officer's opinion. And that is our possessive nouns. Now let's go to our test. And yes, oh, not forgetting, guys, remember our sentences, it starts with a capital letter. So well done. Thank you for correcting me. Sentences starts with a capital letter and always ends with a period, whether it is a period or it is an exclamation mark or a question mark. All right, so now we're going to type the possessive form of the given noun. So we're going to either choose which option is the correct one. A stranger's suitcase. A stranger's suitcase. Do we say it is stranger's suitcase or stranger suitcase? We need to type the possessive form of that given noun. Do we say it is strangers with an apostrophe and S, or do we just say stranger? We leave it the same. Suitcase. So is it strangers? We added an apostrophe and S, or stranger suitcase. We need to type the possessive form of that noun. All right, so if we write the possessive form of that noun, we will say it is a stranger's suitcase, and we add the apostrophe as well as the S. The magician explanation. A magician explanation. Or the magician explanation. If we type that word into a possessive form, right? Do we say magician, magician's option one, or magician, which is option two? Magicians or magician? And if we choose the possessive form, we will say magicians because we add our apostrophe as well as our S to show possessive, or to show the possessive form of the given noun. That officer opinion, do we say that officer opinion? Does it stay the same? Or that officer's opinion? We need to show the possessive form. All right, so if we choose the correct one, and then we will say that officer's opinion, and we add the apostrophe as well as the S that offices opinion. All right. So that is basically it on possessive nouns, right? And we said we have plural, singular possessives as well as plural possessives, right? And with plurals, if you just identify a plural noun, right, that is basically just a word that has an S at the end that shows that it is more than one, or it refers to more than one animal, place, person, or thing, right? But as soon as we make mention of a possessive noun, right, and then we either add an apostrophe and S or we just add an apostrophe, because a possessive noun, it shows either something belonging to someone or if you own something, right, then we add an apostrophe and S, or we just add the apostrophe if the word is plural that ends in an S. Remember, if there's no apostrophe and S or no apostrophe at the end of that word and the word maybe ends in S, then that is just a plural noun. It is not a possessive noun. So, grade 4, this is now the end of our lesson on possessive nouns. Thank you very much for joining the class as well as for interacting. You should have a great evening further. Goodbye.